And look, yo, I'm not gonna lie, they felt stimulated. This is gonna sound like too much information, but I remember when I told a girl I was with at the time, she did something and, boy, if you don't, listen, bro, it felt good, bro.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
So, all right, let me stop playing. All right, anyway. Now, gynecomastia refers to the enlargement of breast tissue in males, often caused by an imbalance of hormones, particularly estrogen and testosterone.
What do you want from me?
Now, in relation to finasteride, it's important to note that while sensitive, puffy, and/or tingly nipples can occur, full-blown gynecomastia, on the other hand, is pretty rare. The exact percentage of men who develop gynecomastia while taking finasteride can vary based on the study and population being examined. According to data from some clinical trials and post-marketing reports, gynecomastia is a relatively rare side effect on finasteride, and there are multiple factors that can attribute to someone's individual risk of having gynecomastia due to finasteride or it being exasperated, so to speak. But again, I must reiterate, it's pretty rare. Side effects and symptoms like tingly nipples and, puffy nipples, that's rare too, but full-blown, like I said before in the beginning, full-blown true gynecomastia is rare. In a 2002 article and case report titled, quote, Unilateral Gynecomastia Induced by Treatment with 1 milligram Oral Finasteride, unquote, Juan Fernando et al. Explored the possible side effect of unilateral gynecomastia, which is enlargement of one side of the male breast tissue associated with the use of 1 milligram oral finasteride, a medication typically prescribed for males with androgenic alopecia. Now, this article and case report mentions how Merck actually recognized that a single instance of breast enlargement and sensitivity was a sporadic side effect during their FDA submissions. And reviews by other researchers found that the incident rate of such breast tissue issues are equivalent to that of placebo groups, being around 0.4%. Now, when it comes to the case study portion of this particular article, Ferrando and his colleagues observed this adverse effect in 4 of their patients on the 1 milligram a day dosage of finasteride. So the variance between initial clinical trial data and real-world observations suggests that gynecomastia might be a potential side effect of finasteride, though its occurrence seems to be relatively rare. So how does finasteride work and its relation to gyno? At this point, it's pretty much gospel, and I think people in the audience can reiterate to me how finasteride works, but finasteride primarily works by inhibiting the 5-alpha reductase enzyme, which converts testosterone into DHT. And DHT is relatively responsible, or largely I should say, responsible for androgenic alopecia. So inhibiting its production can aid in hair restoration. However, as a result of this inhibition, there's an increase in the levels of testosterone in the body. Some of this excess testosterone can be aromatized into a type of estrogen called estradiol. Now, in a minority of cases, if the estrogen to androgen activity ratio becomes imbalanced, this could lead to side effects with the nipples, like I mentioned before. Puffy nipples, sensitive nipples, tingly nipples, and potentially full-blown gynecomastia. But I have to reiterate, even though the other side effects that I said about the nipples are rare, gynecomastia itself, induced by finasteride, is also relatively rare. So who might be more susceptible to getting these sort of tingly nipple side effects? It's reasonable to say that men on the extremes of the testosterone range may be more susceptible. So if you have high free testosterone, so these are men with naturally high free testosterone, and mind you, this is the testosterone in the body that isn't being used, just kind of floating around, and this usually converts to either DHT or estradiol. So if you have a lot of this sort of free testosterone, to the point where you're kind of breaking the reference range, so you're kind of above what's normal, or you're near that point of it being out of the reference range, it could already be the case that your body already does a high degree of aromatization to try to equalize you so you don't get, too crazy with your androgenic activity. So taking finasteride, which can increase your testosterone, can cause an increase in aromatization as well, which could be that contributing factor that induces side effects of tingly nipples, puffy nipples, and, although very, very rare, gynecomastia. Now, for men who are low testosterone, who have low free testosterone, who are at the lower end of the reference range, so to speak, these individuals might already have a closer balance between their testosterone and estrogen levels. So any further boost in estrogen due to the aforementioned mechanisms could tip the balance. Now, from my experience, I didn't develop full-blown gynecomastia. However, I did have a period of time in the beginning of this year, so between January and February of 2023. Actually, now that I think about it a bit more, December of 2023. So I'll describe what happened. I was bench pressing 335 pounds. I slipped on the bench and it fell on my chest. Thankfully, my spotter was there and he caught it. Thank you, Jerry. But since that time period, my nipples started to get a bit tingly, felt a bit sensitive and whatever. But I felt it even more in January of 2023. And look, yo, I'm not gonna lie, they felt stimulated. This is gonna sound like too much information, but I remember when I told a girl I was with at the time, she did something and...
Boy, if you don't...
Listen, bro, it felt good, bro.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
So, all right, let me stop playing. All right, anyway. So I got it checked out by a doctor, and surely enough, it was confirmed with imaging that there was some sort of small mass that was in my left nipple. This, reasonably speaking, should put people on a bit of an alert not to freak out, talk to a doctor, keep getting checked up, keep doing follow-ups, actually make sure it isn't anything serious. But with further test, it was nothing. It was just some sort of fluid buildup. So, it's hard to say if it was due to the finasteride or me dropping 335 fucking pounds on my chest. And maybe it bruised the nipple and caused some sort of, edema of some sort. I should also mention, at this time, I was relatively overweight. Now, I'm 5'11". I wish I was 6'2". It seems that's the preference these days amongst the ladies. But I was also relatively overweight. So I was about 215 pounds or 210 pounds or so, between that range at the time. In April of 2022, I was actually around 225 pounds. So I'm giving you that idea to just make you guys understand that, sometimes when you're overweight, your fat cells actually hold on to a bit more estrogen, and people who are overweight tend to have some other, issues with nipple sensitivity and also gynecomastia. So that's something to take into consideration. Being overweight while on finasteride, while also, I'm going to mention this as well, before I took finasteride, I got blood work, and my reference range for my free testosterone was actually at the higher end. I was a bit above that sort of reference range. So with that in mind, me already, naturally producing high free testosterone, having other factors, I think finasteride kind of sort of induced those kind of, puffy nipple, tingly, sensitive nipple side effects. And that's what I got. Now today, I don't have any of that. The fluid and, nipple sensitivity is largely gone. Maybe I shouldn't say largely gone. It's just not there anymore. But I want to share what I was suggested by my doctor to do to address this sort of side effect that I had, because I believe that it was related to finasteride. And there are going to be people who are saying, you, the guy who promotes finasteride, how can you believe that it has side effects? It can induce side effects, yeah. And, it's rare to have such a high free testosterone level that I do. So, again, I sort of fall into that sort of anomaly. I'm just here to share my experience. So it was actually recommended to me to take a 1 to 2 week break. And during this break, I think I took a break for 1 week. 5 days into it, the sensitivity was gone. Like nipple sensitivity was gone. Like everything tingly, all of that gone. And this makes sense because finasteride doesn't stay in the body as long as something like dutasteride, which I take right now. I think dutastride's half-life is like 3 weeks or something like that. And finasteride is like maybe 5 hours. I could be wrong, but it's significantly lower than dutasteride. But in any case, I discontinued finasteride for 1.5 weeks. And after the symptoms went away, I began to slowly reintroduce finasteride by taking 0.5 milligram of finasteride every other day for about a week. And then afterwards, I increased the dose to 1 milligram every other day for another month. And then, depending on my comfort, and I wasn't facing any side effects, at that point, I just went back to taking 1 milligram of finasteride every day. And of course, this was under a doctor's supervision, so if you ever have any sort of strange lumps or even tingly feelings while, taking any medication, please consult a doctor. That's what you should be doing that. I see a lot of people self-medicating online, and it's your body, your choice, and I'm a lover of that sort of freedom, you know? But still, just be sensible. And I don't want to make this video to fearmonger. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to let people know about, you know, my experiences, as well as the experiences of many other people who may have gotten this sort of side effect and they freaked out. You have to have a mechanism in place to address side effects if and possibly when they occur. And I'll reiterate again, when it comes to full-blown gynecomastia, I'm talking about not like puffy nips or fluid in the nip or sensitive nips. I'm talking about actual breast tissue that forms at that site. That's very rare. That's like super rare. Like having puffy nipples and then having gyno tissue, two different things. And you can see on the screen right now the actual report that I had done when I was having these symptoms. So yes, it is confirmed. I'm not going to show all the information on the paper because obviously it has some sensitive information on it, but nevertheless, here's the report. Also, there would be no reason to lie because I'm pro Finasteride, so why would I make a video talking about side effects if I'm part of Big Pharma, as some people may accuse me of? But in any case, allow me to emphasize again on the rarity. While it is essential to be informed about potential side effects, it's equally important to remember that the occurrence of nipple sensitivity, and even more so gynecomastia from Finasteride, is very rare. Nevertheless, always monitor any changes and consult a doctor when in doubt. Now, thanks for watching this video, and if you got to the end of this video, comment in the comment section below boobies. We love boobies. I like them on women, but you know, to each their own on that regard. But yeah, thanks for watching. And for those of you who don't know, I have some sort of consulting, you know, hair coach type thing going on. So if you're interested in just reaching out to me for a one-on-one, but also just sending an email and trying to get some feedback on particular things, I'd be happy to do so. That's in the description of this video. So check it out. And yeah, hopefully I can get to see you guys in the next video with some new content or some rehashed content or bitching about Cosmo RNA and it being a scam. But in any case, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.